It's time to meet Dylan King, the driving force behind the brand, Pistol in Paris. You might see the Lamborghini, the mega house, the helicopter, and think, oh, he's just showing off. But this is Dylan.
You could be having the worst day ever, man, and you get in this, and all of a sudden you forgot about all your cares and worries. Absolutely.
Remember the day when a helicopter hovering above a grow operation meant big trouble? Now it just means the boss has arrived. And we're stepping inside this facility to check out new genetics, talk of all things growing, and meet the crew. From legacy to legal, from the streets to the skies, Dylan's taken everything to the next level. Now, let's step inside Pistol in Paris and see how he does it. Oh, hey there. I'm cruising through the back end of our YouTube channel, Growing Exposed, and I was shocked to find out that 75% of our loyal, dedicated viewers have still yet to subscribe. Here's the deal. YouTube's algorithm is a bit picky, especially when it comes to cannabis-related content, even if it's made responsibly and factually. But when you, the viewer, hit the subscribe button, you're telling the algorithm loud and clear, we want more of this. It makes all the difference in our ability to keep creating it. Together, we can make sure our voices are heard. Thanks for watching. I'm here with Dylan King, the owner of Pistol in Paris. So it automatically, to the viewer, looks like we're shooting a rap video. But
yeah.
You know, Lamborghinis, helicopters, lifestyles of the rich and famous, and we're here to talk about your brand, your influence within the industry. Who is Dylan King?
Yeah, for those of you that don't know me, you know, I'm the owner of Pistol in Paris. I founded it in late 2020, 2021. I grew up with a single mother. I had two brothers. You know, we grew up on welfare. You know, my mom, before we'd go to school, shop kind of thing, we'd go to the thrift store and buy stuff. And, you know, my mom did the best that she could. But all of this stuff that you see here today, I mean, it was all goals that I had. My mom told me at a young age that if you want the nice things that your friends have and nice shoes and, you know, jackets and all that they have, you're going to have to start working. And, you know, and because she just couldn't afford that. So I started working at 13 and, you know, I could work hard and go buy that pair of shoes, you know, that I wanted or whatever it was. And then I just had that hustle and I had that passion. And, you know, anybody that knows me knows, like, I have, you know, a serious drive and I don't quit. I just keep going and going. And, you know, here we are today. And, you know, I've had some people, some haters out there going, oh, this, you know, with his car or helicopter and, you know, he's bragging or showing off, and it's not about that. You know, I tell young kids all the time, people, you know, tell me that, you know, they're in the same, you know, similar situation to what I was in, and I'm like, man, like, I grew up the exact same way, and I'm like some, you know, little hippie kid that grew up on Quadra Island, you know, with hippie parents, and if I can do it, you can do it.
It's ultimately a rags to riches kind of story.
Yeah, you could say that for sure.
I've known you for decades.
Yeah.
And I've always known you to be a hustler, hard worker, that came from the legacy market. You're not just, you know, that tagline, you know, from legacy to legal.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
I can quantify, we've known each other for decades. And it's so good to finally see your brand standing out. And for those haters in the world that look at helicopters and Lambos, you know, turn off the TV, whatever.
Totally.
Have your opinion. But the fact of the matter is setting goals and being successful and drive and working hard, you know, that's the payoff. If that makes you happy, good for you.
Totally.
Right? So the thing that I like is being part of the show is I get to go for a ride in this.
Yeah. I don't think you've ever been in one, and this thing, it's insane, this thing, so.
Well, let's light it up.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Beauty.
Okay, I'm gonna start my car, just warm it up then for a sec.
Made for small Italians.
There's like a little fucking way to get in and out, but you're like me, man, it's fucking tight.
This is important, right? If you have a toy like this, it shouldn't be a garage queen.
Yeah.
I firmly believe they should get taken out and driven.
Yeah, I agree, man.
All the haters that talk about Lamborghinis and helicopters,
Yeah.
they've just never fucking actually been in one.
Fucking facts.
Yeah, you know,
100%.
you've never understood what G-force and handling
Yeah, no
are.
shit.
Like, you can't deny
Yeah.
this car
Yeah.
is a serious machine.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's weird that people say shit like that because you're right. Fucking, they've never been in one of these.
Yeah.
And if they had, look at us there. Fuck, we had smiles on our face within fucking
you can't wipe
2
them off.
seconds.
You can't wipe your smile off.
Totally.
Jesus.
Makes you feel alive.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
100%.
yeah.
Let's get into the brand. So, your brand, obviously, Pistol in Paris. You've made it more of a lifestyle brand and a cannabis brand.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I wanted to stand out from the rest. I think in this space right now, the cannabis space, it's very tough to stand out. You know, I think so many of the brands are very similar. They market the same way. They do, you know, so much stuff just focused on the garden and the bud and the plants and you know, and it doesn't really tell a story. You know, everybody pushes that they grow the best weed, right? Everybody says they have the best weed around and that's why you should buy them. But how do you stand out? How does a consumer know?
I agree 100%. As a brand owner, how do you differentiate yourself is always a question you got to keep asking yourself.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe in doing things differently,
Yeah.
right?
Standing out.
Standing out. So
Yeah.
if that means helicopters and Lamborghinis,
Yeah.
perfect. It's giving you the attention, good,
Yeah.
bad, and indifferent. It's giving you the attention that people talk about your brand.
Yeah.
And as long as you're talking about my brand, perfect.
Yeah. You know, there's lots of haters out there too.
Yeah.
And you know, somebody told me a long time ago, a really successful businessman, if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right.
Absolutely true.
And you know, I think with some of my marketing and that, I hear the odd comment about me having that I'm showing off and I'm, that I've rented my car or,
Sure.
all of this total bullshit.
Yeah.
There's one thing that, that when I come off and I do my marketing and I show the lifestyle brand and that, like, there's no faking what I do. This is who I am, and these are all my things. I had all this shit before I started my cannabis brand, and so it makes it really easy for me to market because I'm not faking it. I'm not faking it till I make it, like a lot of other guys, have. And
100%. So with all brands, right? You want, in my opinion, a feeling, an emotion tied to it.
Yeah.
Right? So brands like Red Bull,
Yeah.
shitty energy drink,
Yeah.
right? But they've been able to capture a lifestyle,
Yeah.
an association, a feeling, right? They've got helicopters, skydivers,
Yeah.
all these things, all tied to an average energy drink.
Yeah.
But when you drink a Red Bull, you're associated with all those cool things that they do.
We try to do the same sort of things, as these lifestyle brands, because that's what they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't know, I love helicopters, right?
Yeah, it has to be genuine. It can't be like, you're not
Can't
doing
fake
it.
it.
You're
Yeah.
not doing it
Yeah.
to get, the viewership or build the brand.
Yeah.
It is you.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate in the legalization of cannabis that the government said you can't brand who you are or what you do as a brand.
Yeah.
Right?
It makes it very difficult for sure. Like the alcohol company, they can advertise, they can market, they can, run ads on, radio shows or billboards and all these other things. But as a cannabis brand, we can't. It just makes it super, super difficult with, getting our name out there and standing out as a cannabis brand.
Growing Exposed is more than just a video series. It's an integral part of our community. Did you know that being connected to us, you can save money on nutrients, lighting, dehumidification, and practically any other products that you would need to grow? Thanks to our large community, Manufacturers give us exclusive, direct grower discounts, which add up to big savings. We even have a program to save you substantial money on packaging, pop tops, glass jars, Mylar bags, labels, and stickers. Plus, we can save you money on promotional items and so much more. All the information on how you can take advantage of the discounts are in the description. And the best part is, it's free. So sign up now. If there ever was a way to get to work, this might be it.
Yeah, that's ultimate way, 100%.
Yeah, I'm still
yeah, it's
on a high.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Woo!
How was that?
That's fun as shit.
Isn't that awesome?
Fuck yeah. Like I was saying, Dylan, people can hate all they want until they actually sit in a helicopter.
100%. You could be having the worst day ever, man, and you get in this, and all of a sudden you forgot about all your cares and worries.
Absolutely. Look at this. Wow. We're gonna buzz the fishing boats. So sick. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets you all pumped up for sure.
Yeah. So this property's kind of neat, eh?
I've owned it since 2012, and this is illegal, this part here, and it all started in that barn.
Okay.
You know, that's where everything started. I had my medical in that barn for probably, 10 years or something now.
Super.
And yeah, as soon as I went legal to this side here, we obviously had to shut it down in that and not being able to grow medically anymore. But yeah, man, I got some wild stories of some things that have happened in that barn and that.
What are we gonna see today?
We're gonna see, I've got 2 rooms of Rockstar. I got 1 room of Orange Tings. I've got another room of Blackout Bobby. So yeah, we got all of our rooms are full. I just got my cultivation license. It's taken a long time getting this place. Here we are today where, we've been in this building almost a year now.
Exciting. Let's go. Let's
I'll show you. Yeah,
let's go check out this garden. Clean, nice, beautiful new building, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice being able to do a full build from the ground up and design it the exact way that I wanted it designed.
Yeah. So what exactly was entailed in that, right?
You know what? I traveled around a ton of different micros and LPs the first 2 years that I was in the market, and just going through them and seeing what I thought worked, wide hallways versus narrow hallways, big doors versus small doors, just all of these little things. I started jotting down on paper, and then when I ended up designing this place, I basically had a rough, drawing of what I wanted, and then the architects kind of put it all together, and you'll see what I mean as soon as we get out there into the main hallway area. You'll see all the little touches and all these little things that I definitely did here.
I always talk about a plan, and they always go over budget, and having that in-depth knowledge, 1, from legacy, and 2, having the know-how of how the legal gardens work, picking all the pieces you like, that's a really smart move.
Yeah, putting it all together.
I like that a lot.
No, it's impressive back there. Let's get suited up.
Oh, it smells nice.
Smells good in here, right?
Smells fresh, clean, and cannabis.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
It's funny, when you walk into a grow, I've always said this, you can tell automatically if it's gonna be a good grow or not by number 1, cleanliness, and number 2, how your skin feels in the garden.
Yeah, feels good in here, right?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, so Felipe is head of cultivation here.
So what are you doing here in this garden than other gardens?
We're always making sure that our VPD is on point over here.
Okay.
We pay really close attention for environment, making sure that the whole room is heating the same environment, keeping the airflow to the max to make sure that the temperature, humidity is on point, and also a different approach on fertigation. We do between 9 to 10 shots a day over here in the veg rooms.
Okay.
Our flower rooms get between 6 to 7 shots a day.
Okay. So your crop steering?
Yes.
And it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So this guy here, I was always an okay grower.
Yeah.
But this guy brings it to that extra level that I could never do. So
the stuff that you and I learned on, old school HPS, donkey dicks. That's like driving the old Chevy. Right?
Yeah.
Today we're driving Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
Literally.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
Absolutely.
So let's go see some plants.
Absolutely. Let's go check some garden.
Grow room 3. Awesome. Dylan, what strain is this?
This is Rockstar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, week 5, this is looking really good.
Yeah.
What PPFD are you running?
We're running 800 par meter.
That's honestly, that's a great number. And your EC or PPM in the
2 EC.
2 EC.
2 EC.
Perfect. Honestly, I've always, as a nutrient manufacturer, I always recommend less is better, right?
Yeah.
You can never scale it back. Flushing is really difficult. And giving the plant just what it needs, not any more, I always find to be the best thing. Especially when you're doing a lot of drybacks and you're running at a much drier medium. Your EC naturally
It's gonna raise.
is going to be higher.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And it's always getting that nutrition over
Yeah.
and over and
Yes.
over
Yeah.
all day long.
Totally.
Yes.
So yeah, beautiful work.
Yeah.
We had somebody else join us. Mike,
Hey,
how you doing?
good buddy, how are you?
Good to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you.
So what do you do at Pistol in Paris?
I'm the director of cannabis.
Okay.
Philippe works on kind of this side of the hall. I work on the other side of the hall. I'm kind of bringing as much weed as I can to fill up our processing rooms and keep everyone busy. We have a stable of around 10 to 12 growers that we work with and just small businesses that we help support and just try to make sure everyone can make a buck or two, just like the old days.
Yeah, how cool is that, right? So you're not only cultivators yourself, you're vertically integrated, you grow your own, you process and you resell, but you're also taking other growers and making sure that they're at least supported in the space. So
Yeah.
it makes them relevant, keeps them in business,
Yeah.
feeds their families, and now you're just, part of a bigger wheel with more cogs.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
100%.
Amazing. Let's go see more.
Okay, let's go.
So Felipe, obviously we're an early veg. What made you, number one, decide to grow this genetic? What is this genetic?
So that's pink goo.
Okay.
That's it's under Piston Paris. It's been, I want to say, a year and maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, the pink goo, it's been rocking for us.
This is a
Yeah.
very strong SKU for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many lights do we have in this room?
But we have 36 lights right now. They're 750 watt.
I like that. I like the size of this room.
Yeah.
If there's a problem, you can contain it in one space. These gardens that run excessive lights,
Massive.
one room, the controls.
No.
Yes.
And I really like that. So
That's the difference, I think, too, with the craft quality.
Yeah.
Having small rooms compared to 150 lights in one room kind of thing. It's hard to control. Like you said, you have a
All
problem
about
on one side.
environment.
I like the control.
It's
small
manageable.
rooms. Totally.
right?
Yeah.
what made you decide, number one, to grow with HPS lighting?
That's where I came from. Like
Okay.
I always grew up growing under HPS lights. I had experience under LEDs, but I noticed that plants tends to ask for more food under LEDs. It's a lot much to play with, and it's just more a comfortable zone for us under HPS. We have a good light penetration. We know exactly what to do with it.
When I was building this place, I bought all these lights actually used.
Okay.
So like my whole facility, cost me $8,000 in the lights, and then I bought all new bulbs versus, LEDs. It was a $250,000 bill, and as self-funded and all that, I had to be super careful with it. It's like the old days trying, setting up a big show.
Yeah.
You're doing the best you can with what you have.
Absolutely.
You don't want to, stick your neck out on the line and overspend and that sort of stuff. So, it's kind of the same philosophy a little bit that went into here. And we know how this light spectrum works and that, and eventually we will probably make the change over time, but we're not there yet.
My recommendation, honestly, is you're accustomed to HPS, you're accustomed to a certain style of growing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When you decide to make that switch, buy 10 lights.
Yeah, totally.
Don't make the investment
Yeah.
of 130 lights in,
Oh,
in LED
Yeah.
and then go, oh my God, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Anyone that tries to sell you 130 lights
Yeah.
is doing you a disservice.
Yeah, for sure.
LED is fantastic if
Yeah.
you know the animal.
Yeah.
What you could do in a room like this
Yeah.
to dip your toe into LED
Yeah.
is maybe try some under canopy lighting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you can actually get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Some
We've
people,
been thinking about that for sure.
some people checker plate,
Yeah.
where you're, checkering LED to HPS.
Yeah.
If you're gonna step into LED, start slow.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my recommendation.
Yeah, for sure.
So you are currently using a nursery to buy your genetics?
We are, yeah. Yeah, we use Life Cycles over on Vancouver Island in Nanaimo.
Yeah, talk about an old legacy guy.
Yeah,
same,
Mark,
same,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Mark's a
Great
good guy.
guy.
Yeah.
And he genuinely cares
He
about
does.
the genetics.
100%.
I've been to his facility and the SOPs that he has in place to make sure that the plants come healthy, and he just genuinely cares.
Yeah, for sure. Oh.
And you can focus on cultivation and not worrying about what the next genetic is or whatever. He's done that work.
Yeah, totally.
So I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, let's go. I want to show you this fertigation room we got.
Beautiful.
When I started this over 10 years ago, I was growing it and harvesting it. But nobody was really talking about what was going on inside this plant. Outside, you'll see plant material, which is primarily carbon and water. And it's only after a closer look you discover this beautiful world of trichomes. And it's here that you find the substance which gives cannabis the effect that it has. Now that I know it's all about trichome production, I use resin. Try it, you're gonna be blown away.
So this is your room where everything that's fed in the whole building comes from here.
Absolutely. That's the brain of the fertigation, the cultivation side.
Yeah. I noticed you're doing reverse osmosis.
Yes.
That's also ensuring that you're starting with a super clean baseline.
Yes. We actually are at 0 ppm.
0 ppm.
We got 0 ppm out.
And it's important to note, British Columbia has some of the nicest water in the world.
Yes.
Right? So we're not only doing this to make sure that 0 ppm is the baseline, it just ensures that whatever you're putting in, you can regulate, and you're not going to be having any other nutrients to mess with ratios.
Yes.
Great to see. As a producer, all the regulations and all the red tape that you have to go through.
Absolutely.
How does that affect the bottom line? Because cannabis is the only substance that I know that you have to have all the testing, all the heavy metals, testing for pesticides, PGRs, everything that's in it, which adds a cost. And obviously we don't want to consume those things, but how does that affect the bottom line?
I believe that it just makes everything more time consuming.
Yeah.
Growing cannabis under the legal side, it's way more time consuming than it was back in the day, where you could grow to the room, hit whatever nutrient you want, and get it out. No, now everything needs to be registered, and it has times to be registered. I cannot come tomorrow and actually register the feed that I did today. Everything has time and place.
Because as consumption goes, if I'm eating lettuce, that lettuce could have been grown with anything. We don't know what we're putting on our body.
Oh yeah, you don't know if it was sprayed, you don't know what type of nutrient was done, if it was grown organic, if it was grown under salt. You have no idea what is, you have your final product, but you don't know what was done to get into that final product. Under the legal market, everything is traceable.
Yeah, the paperwork. I mean, that's one of the biggest things.
Red tape.
The reporting, right? The regulations. It's insane. I mean, he almost spends as much time on the computer reporting as he does in the garden. So
red tape, right?
Yeah.
And funnily enough, lettuce has been known to kill people.
Right.
And all of a sudden, cannabis, people are looking at it and go, oh my God, this saves people's lives.
Yeah.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
What a funny turn of event.
Yeah.
Watch out for that romaine.
Right.
No shit. Yeah, check out this Fert rack. Have you seen much like this?
I mean, that's a really clean dosing system.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we were talking about going over budget and that sort of stuff. Like, I had no idea the money that goes into these things.
Yeah.
You know, and then just the programming and our guys that do all the programming for us. And, you know, as a new business, we're tweaking things in a new grow, right? Each room's a little bit different, but what a difference, man, compared to back in the day, the 45-gallon drums.
It's links in a chain, right?
Yes.
Every link has a very important, and the stronger those links are, the better this garden's going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So the end consumer can rest assured that when they get a Pistol and Paris product, it's standardized, it's quality, and it's consistent.
They know what to expect.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
I think that's it.
I think that was good.
Right?
Amazing. So Dylan, I've had a ton of fun today, and it actually cut our grow tour a little short.
It definitely did, yeah.
And I'm a big fan of not entering gardens when the lights are off.
Yeah.
let the babies sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell you what, we're gonna come back
Nice.
in a couple weeks.
Okay, sounds
and
good.
We'll check out the next harvest.
Yeah, right on.
And we'll be a part of the next harvest, and I look forward to having that.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to having you
Thanks
back.
so much for having us today.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, Felipe, great meeting you, man.
Thank you.
Mike,
Great to meet you, buddy.
real pleasure meeting you. We're gonna show you more in a couple weeks. We're back a week later, and it's harvest time. Let's go check these plants out. So it's the most wonderful time of the year, or basically during the life cycle of this plant.
Yeah.
This is crop time. A lot of work, a lot of effort goes into getting to this point.
Yeah.
From here, what do we do?
Now it's time to chop them down and get them into the dry room. We're gonna clean up the canopy a little bit, take some of the big leaves out, and take them out of the trellis, chop it down, and bring to the room.
And you're choosing to do full plant dry.
Absolutely.
So you're curing the whole plant?
Yes.
And then doing a trim, hand trim completely, right? A room like this, how long is a room like this taking to
4
take down?
to 5 hours.
4 to 5 hours, you're in and out.
Done. Yeah.
Plants are hung.
Yeah.
Let's do that right now.
Absolutely.
Let's do some chopping.
Absolutely. So we'll just cut the trellis, have the plants all available to come down.
Yeah. And you're doing dual trellis netting.
Yes,
I
two
noticed.
levels. First trellis net, we kind of spread the plant, so we make sure that they're open. The second trellis is just to hold the colas. If not,
Yeah.
they're gonna just fall. So right now that plant's ready.
Yeah.
You can come with your alligator clip and get it done.
Chop, chop, chop. Hang
Yeah.
the plant upside down and take it out to the bins, yeah?
Yeah, so we have one bin full over here. You can put them over there, and we're gonna bring them to the dry
Okay.
room.
Yeah, and then
And
we
it's-
gotta weigh it first.
Yes, so everything that comes out of this room, it gotta be reported to Health Canada.
Okay.
So we have what we call wet weight and dry weight. So that will be our wet weight, 7.3.
Yep. And now you document it.
I will need to document over here. Every bean gets documented, and then we bring to the room. And
Yeah.
once everything is dry, before touching again to those plants, we gotta give them a dry weight.
Okay.
So they can calculate the drying loss, is what we call, how much water we pull
Yeah.
it out of this product before it goes available to the market, right?
And we're pulling out approximately how much wet weight out of this plant?
85%.
85%.
Yes.
So you can almost do the math to see what we'll have dry, roughly,
Absolutely.
right?
You can have a really good
Yeah,
idea.
have a rough
Sure,
idea.
it still has the stems, depends how big
Yeah.
how tall your plants are,
Yeah.
that will change a little bit, but it gives you a really good idea of what
Baseline,
to
yeah.
expect.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you can actually forecast you're
Yeah.
going to get this yield within 5% either way.
Yes,
Totally.
exactly.
Okay.
So that's our dry room.
I mean, it smells really good in here.
Smells gassy in here.
Smells gassy. This is a really gassy strain.
Yeah,
Blackout Bobby.
absolutely.
Yeah.
How's the effect of this plant?
So it's a really euphoric high.
Yeah.
It's something that I wouldn't recommend for beginners.
Yeah, so it's going to kick your ass.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
I also noticed in this room you're running a really unique system. It's the dry flower
Absolutely.
hanging system.
Yes.
Very modular. How do you like it?
I love it. I
Yeah?
love it. It makes the room really practical. It's really easy to scout in the plants once they're drying. If I want to come over, move them around, slide them around, and check this whole plant, it's really easy. Coming from back in the day where we had strings running in the room or even mesh strings.
Well, that's what I was going to do
Right.
originally. I was telling you I was going to just put the hooks up and the string up and that, and really important for me having my trimmers and just a good work environment and everything dry proper. So I researched a bunch of brands for doing dries and that sort of stuff. These dry flower guys out of Oregon, I reached out to them and man, they were unbelievable. They even came up here and set it up for us. We were really excited to they're getting into the Canadian market and that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely the best system I've seen. So and we know we don't have to worry about strings breaking because that's happened in the past, right? Too much weight. Come back the next morning, plants are on the floor. So this system is very slick. So
It basically looks like coat hangers on steroids.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Right, but
such
it
a
is-
simple idea.
Yeah, but it's modular.
Totally.
It's clean. We're
Yeah.
not worried about wood or molds or
Yeah.
bacteria or anything
Exactly.
growing on
Sure.
that, right?
So as soon as everything is dry, I can come over, buck, and all those racks can get out of the room. The room will be completely empty. I can have tables, chairs, and the trims are trimming with space and comfort.
Yeah, we have 15 trimmers that come in here. You know, for a full room that we take down, we can still get, you know, a big table in here, 15 workers in here.
Oh,
Everybody's
all
comfortable.
your trimming and bucking in the same
Yes.
room?
We trim in the same room.
All that comes out. It's really portable.
Yeah.
Okay. We're lucky enough today to have Braun from Canadry.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about what dehumidification, because all these plants need to have all this moisture sucked out of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And how quick are we going to be doing that?
14 to 15 days.
So nice and slow,
Absolutely.
easy removal, getting the chlorophyll levels down,
Yeah.
and ending up with the nicest flower possible.
Absolutely.
14 days is a good amount of time.
Yeah.
The rooms are very cold too, so we do like a cold care in here. So yeah, with our ACs going and the temperature they're at, and the Canadry dehum. I mean, we run Canadrys in all of our flower rooms also.
Yeah.
And you know, this unit here is just perfect in this room, and you know, there's so much. The cure is such an important part, right? So having the right equipment in here and us monitoring it the way that we do, you know, it's basically foolproof that 14, 15 days later, we're ready to bring the trimmers in. So
Yeah, you can spend months growing and flowering out the perfect crop.
And ruining
And
it.
if you don't do this part properly,
everything else,
it's
3
wasted.
months was all wasted. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. But
this is very crucial.
it's very crucial. And, you know, being careful and delicate with the plant, not tossing it around, not bashing up the trichomes
Absolutely.
is really important too. So now that we've got the plants in the drying room, it's time to hang them.
Let's do it. So we hang 4 plants per hanger. That's how we got the best way to spread them around over here
Nice
and
and-
make sure that they dry even.
Yeah, nice and gentle.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple system.
Super simple. It's easy to put it in, easy to take it out. There you go.
Perfect.
Ready
Let's
to
get
dry.
more plants.
Beautiful. Let's go with more plants.
It looks like a simple bottle, but there's nothing simple about what's inside. Selected from trusted local suppliers and crafted from the finest ingredients, Green Planet was born over 25 years ago in Canada. Since then, these formulas have been validated by thousands of North American cultivation facilities. And in Australia, we don't just make Green Planet products. We hold ourselves to the highest standards of manufacturing in a triple ISO certified facility, delivering products designed to unlock nature's full potential. We take our nutrients very seriously because we know what's at stake for you, the grower. With every drop in this bottle being a testament to what can be achieved when science and nature unite.
When it comes to air quality, not all ratings are created equal. That's why understanding the AHAM rating is important, especially if you're a cultivator relying on this standard for your dehumidifier in your dry room. AHAM stands for the Association of Home Appliance Manufacturers, which sets the industry standard for measuring a dehumidifier's efficiency. But here's the thing. While this rating works well for household appliances, it doesn't always tell the full story when applied to lower temperatures associated with most dry rooms. Which is why blindly trusting this number can lead to issues. Here to clarify is Braun from Canadry.
Traditionally, dehumidifiers were always spec'd at the AHAM rating of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 60% humidity. And we all know that's not conducive to cultivation or curing your cannabis. So we really focus on making sure our units perform at lower temperatures.
To the layman, what you're saying is the AHAM rating is not relevant. And in cooler spaces, you should be looking for dehumidifiers that fit the bill or have thought about being able to remove moisture at lower temperatures.
Yeah, our units are designed for growing cannabis, whereas the other units are designed to meet an AHAM rating, which isn't conducive to growing or curing cannabis.
You know, we're really learning about proper curing and what that does to quality craft cannabis. And finding tools like Canadry that are going to be more effective at lower temperatures is a really important
Absolutely.
tool
Yes.
in your toolbox.
Trichome production along with your terpenes, being able to do that longer, slower cold cure is imperative to having a high quality product. And like this gear, like look at this stuff. It looks absolutely banger.
I mean, what's nice is it looks good, but the terp profile is amazing. My nose is literally itching.
Well, you can tell right away you walk in this room and you almost want to have that sneeze effect.
Yeah.
Because it's so strong, the terpenes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like you
So-
wish it could be kind of, smell TV. So
Yeah,
people
you
can
want to
actually
bottle that
appreciate
shit.
this.
You want to
Yeah.
bottle that shit,
Yeah.
no question. Is there any concern about dehumidification and collecting spores or potential pathogens on the coils? And is that a concern?
There is. So another thing that we've done is we've epoxy coated our coils. So when that water is going into the drip pan, it's going to be recyclable water without the concern of having pathogens or microbials or heavy metals for that matter.
That's important.
It is, and it's a stainless steel drain pan as well. So we made sure that water can be reclaimed without the risk of what may happen from other reclaimed water from other systems. You're essentially going to be having distilled water that you can reclaim and use in the rest of your facility without the risk of heavy metals, microbials, or other pathogens.
Amazing. So being a legacy grower yourself and coming from the legacy industry and walking into a legal garden where their tagline is legacy to legal, how does it feel? Like there's a lot of commonalities that we all share being part of the BC industry for so long.
Well, as you have been saying that, almost gives me goosebumps because
Right?
it's so amazing. Like with friends like Dylan, friends like you, we've all come from that legacy world. And now being able to see that we're the ones who are slowly coming in and making sure we are the leaders of this industry rather than large corporate multinational entities, it's pretty righteous and it feels good because we are the ones who been in this industry from the early days and now we're the ones who are taking ownership of it.
We know a thing or two over those decades of being involved in the industry, and knowing that the consumer today wants that makes us relevant.
And I think another big component is the community that we have. Like we're showing that we are a community, we support each other, we lift each other up, and we want to see the success of the other people. And that's what we do. And I know all of us do have that mentality, and I think it's becoming more commonplace.
Yeah.
For a while there, it wasn't commonplace when legalization first came in. It was cutthroat, it was corporate, and it was a bunch of people who shouldn't have been in this industry. And we're taking it back and we're owning it. And it's kick-ass.
Love it.
Right on.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
High five, Dylan.
I'm not showing this for any other reason that this is a measurement of a fuck ton of flour,
Yeah, it's a lot of smalls there.
right? And smalls are what you guys use in your pre-rolls.
Yeah, all of our pre-rolls, we use small buds. I mean, sometimes some big buds. A lot of micros and LPs, they'll mix shake into their pre-rolls and that too, where we don't mess around. We just go all bud into all of our pre-rolls.
Yeah, and smalls are gonna have the exact same amount of THC, cannabinoids, but you're not getting into the lumber. So there's actually better value in smalls.
For sure, 100%.
Regardless of the fact that you're getting a smaller nugget,
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you're getting a lesser product.
totally. Pre-rolls are the biggest SKU basically in the market today, or segment. I think we've made 2 million pre-rolls so far this year. So we're going through a ton of pre-rolls. So we use knock boxes where we can do about 15,000 pre-rolls in a day now. There's a real art with making a good pre-roll. So my guys that do it, they need to know the consistency and that sort of stuff. So what we do is we take this stuff and we have a Futurola grinder that we use. We'll blend it all up in to that to make a good pre-roll, because you can turn it into dust. You need it grainy a little bit to build that good pre-roll. So
yeah, but I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Getting the right grind for a pre-roll is really important.
Yeah, that's everything.
Right? And making sure that you're not ending up with a whole bunch of lumber in the pre-roll. So having smalls is perfect.
Yeah. I'm very picky with, branding and all that sort of stuff. So, even my pre-rolls, I mean, I use colored tips.
Yeah.
I say what the strain is. I've got my logo on it.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass for inventory control and that sort of stuff. But I think being a premium cannabis company, that it's worth it. And, to do those, to go above and beyond to just stand out in the market.
Yeah, you've actually branded it and said the strain on every single one of the pre-rolls, where most of the people just put the branding and the strain is written on the actual packaging.
Totally.
The experience the consumer has, if it's old flour, if it's flour that's not had the right moisture content and the wrong grind has been put together to make that pre-roll, they're gonna have a negative experience.
Totally. They're gonna have a bad joint.
They're gonna have a bad joint.
Yeah.
And that reflects poorly on your brand.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact that you're putting in 100% pure flour,
Yeah.
and you're ensuring that it's the right moisture content, the
Totally.
consumer's gonna have a better experience. And
sure.
that's some of the differentiating factors when it comes to craft cannabis
Yeah.
and what people can expect. Because with the legal market, we've seen a lot of licensed producers come to market with, aged looking product, very brown, overly dried, crumbles.
Yeah.
And that's
a lot of the browning too is from e-beaming, from you get, it's crazy, within 3 months, you can tell the difference from stuff that's been e-beamed and stuff that hasn't. So, and you know what, to be honest, probably 70% in the market has been irradiated or e-beamed.
So what is e-beam to those that don't understand?
It's basically like putting your weed through a microwave and it kills all the pesticides if you had any failures with mildew or mold, or it kind of cleans it back up. But anything that we would ever have that would need that, we don't bring to market.
Yeah.
We just, I don't buy it. I don't, we'll throw it in the garbage because that stuff there, it's, I don't want to portray that I'm this high-end company, which I am, bringing that quality to people, but we have to irradiate our stuff to get it passed through.
To fix a problem.
Totally. Yeah.
So that's the funny thing, right? The testing and the red tape that go along with this, you can consume any alcohol. None of it ever has any testing behind it.
Well, it's unfair.
Yeah, it's unfair.
So even look at this here. We were talking about the big stop sign, right? You ever see that on alcohol?
No.
Never, right? We have to brand around that, right? And trying to be a cannabis brand, and branding, as we've talked many times, is very big, huge. But here you put a big red stop sign on it, and I mean, it almost sends two different messages.
Absolutely.
It's like I'm trying to get these consumers to come and buy it.
Yeah.
But then it's weird because you see this in the background, right? And it's almost like, don't buy me. It's dangerous, or
that is exactly what it says. This product is dangerous.
Totally.
When we all know alcohol, tobacco, these things are dangerous. Where nobody's ever died from cannabis. It's safe to say that legalization has not been the huge success that everybody wanted, and it's very difficult for people to get in the space, right? We've seen a lot of LPs not succeed, right? They put their life savings into this industry. The government's still printing licenses, knowing full well that people are floundering, right? From ridiculous packaging saying no to THC, when you've got beautiful branding. This is, one of many things that the government can look at. It's overtaxed, overregulated, telling people, hey, buy our cannabis, but don't. These are all difficult things to deal with, right? But I'm optimistic, as I know you are, that the evolution of legalization is going to get better and better.
Totally. Yeah, hoping, I think every year I've been saying that, next year is going to get better because there's been such a bloodbath out there. But I'm hoping 2025, I really think that that's going to be the change where things start changing and that. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, lots more to come for Pistol in Paris.
You bet.
I really appreciate you taking the time to show us around. It's a very impressive garden.
Right on. Appreciate
super
it.
clean, super professional from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have too. And lots more to come from Pistol in Paris. Dylan's journey isn't just about success. It's about evolution. From legacy to legal, he's proving that hard work and passion can carve out a place in any industry. You don't have to like his style, but you gotta respect his drive. Building a brand despite all the regulations that are trying to yell, stop, the moment the product hits the shelf. Which ties back to our original mission. Destigmatizing this plant and getting closer to the respect it deserves. Until next time, this grow has been exposed.